And we're back. Oh. Okie dokie. I believe we're live. Or will be shortly. Let me get my chat up and running here. So that I can talk with you lovely people. Okay. There we go, I think. Alright, so here we are back in the depths where we left off. We had just run down to to clear that that ice statue that was right near our cool altar. Oh no, this says I'm offline. A conundrum indeed. Well, this says I'm streaming. Interesting. Yeah, okay. No, I'm live. Excellent. Good. Excellent. And I believe that if I've done this properly, I've set up YouTube. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So the cauldron in the info, I don't know if it's that ice statue. Okay. It was right near. Yep. All right. Well, that's me talking at me. So I am live. Great. Hi. Anyway, the cauldron that may or may not be beneath the video that you are watching is a link to the previous runs that I've recorded and uploaded. Okay, hopefully that works. Anyway, so feel free to check him out. Granite Grant, I think, is my favorite. He was my first and so far only 15 rune ascension. I have had other characters that have had 10 plus runes and died through hubris or experimentation sometimes. Now, why this isn't staying up, I don't know. Maybe if I... This whole setup is a little tricky. Just because I don't have, for example, a desktop 15 rune ascension. Maybe I had 2 instances of that open. That could be why it's having trouble. Anyway, so I apologize for this slight awkwardness as I get things set up here. But we'll get into the good stuff shortly. Presumably. Okay, here we go. Now it's doing the proper thing. Good, good, good. I don't know if anyone has said anything yet, or if anyone's even watching, but in case you are, welcome. We are not actually wielding our axe. We are not actually wielding anything. Oh, at some point I'll check out that cool Sword of the Jihad, but we have reached level 27, the final one. Ha! Cool way to start the video, while we're starving to death. Okay, and here we go. Last point into strength. Challenge completed. Put every point into strength. Well, challenge will be completed when we ascend, but not before then. Not before then. This roll challenge. Okay, so I believe we poked our heads into Zot 2, yeah. But did not go too far, because if I recall, I was very, very tired. Okay, so we've got a pressure plate trap, which somewhere we have a ring of flying, maybe? I thought we had a source of flight. I guess not. Oh, yeah, we did find a ring of flight, but we ditched it. Okay. Why don't we just go ahead and deal with those draconians? I don't really want to take the chance that we will trigger something really awful with that pressure plate trap. Like, I don't know. Decomposition would be, or decay, would be a little annoying. We'd have to quaff some of our, I guess we do have 18 potions of curing, so that's nice. These guys I can just chop down. And chop up. We feast. Meat and eggs. We feast. 32 bonus points, if you can tell me what that's from. Tripled, if you can tell me the specific name of what it is. 32 bonus points if you can name the game. 96 bonus points if you can name the part game. Well, anyway. I have been saying the word anyway a lot lately. Not just while I'm recording, it's become an unfortunate filler since I started watching Friends for the first time. I know, it's just as crazy to me as it is to you. Okay, this is something we're going to want to back out of here. Moths of Wrath are kind of annoying. This I do not deny. Okay, we got resist fire, which is kind of cool. Yeah, one at a time, we are more than a match for anything down here, except maybe Orbs of Fire. Orbs of Fire are still scary, no matter what. Hellfire does hurt. This Lightning Spire, interesting. Ow. Stop it. Hellfire is less affected by fire resistance than normal fire. I don't know to what extent, however. I know that there is a specific, a different specific resistance for Hellfire. Hellfire resistance, it's called. But I don't know. Is this just a regular cloak? It's a ruined cloak. Okay. We could still do better than our current cloak, I think. And Draconians have no shortage of those. Death Cob. Corn Cobs of Doom. Ooh. This is cool. We have so much gold. We have so much gold and nothing to spend it on. We never found a bazaar. That's bazaar, not bizarre. And none of the shops that we found in the Orcish Mines or the vaults or the Elven Halls contained enough to bankrupt us. Or really give us anything useful. That's the other side of it. Eat this moth of wrath. Moths of wrath are themselves not very strong, but they make everything else really strong. Things that wouldn't otherwise be a problem suddenly become a problem. Just as you can kill things much higher level than yourself when you are a berserker, particularly early on. Oh, I see. Can we... Yeah. Upheaval? I think that's our longest range thing. Maybe we can Wand of Cold it. Yeah, we can do that too. Oh, and corrosion isn't permanent anymore, so this really isn't that dangerous of a thing. I always forget that. Every single time I encounter a new enemy that has corrosion in 0.15, I am pleasantly surprised by its lack of horribleness. Just statues all over the place. What is this? Oh, a crystal ball of energy. What is this? Not useful to us. Yeah. That was kind of a test. The Lightning Spire, I know for sure, couldn't do enough damage to kill us even if it hit us for max damage each step of the way there. So I was not concerned about walking towards it. I didn't think that there was anything else in this area because we would have attracted it to us by now, had we not. And I wanted to see if lacking electric resistance was going to be bad for us. That was not a conclusive test, because while we did get hit by a bolt of lightning, and it only dealt 4 damage, I need a much larger sample size than 1 lightning strike to... there's got to be a better way to do this. To throw caution to the winds and approach lightning-based creatures. A burning bush. A aqualob plant, another aqualob sapling. So probably best to come at that from this angle. Oh, the burning bush is a monster. Interesting. I thought it was just a bush that was on fire. Silly me. Okay. Can just get up next to it, hit both with our axe, reducing the number of turns we have to be assaulted by each one. And yeah, yay, crystal ball of energy. It's really cool if you have both high evocations and a reason to need mana. We have kind of the first. 10 is reasonable. Yeah, 10 is fine. Not awesome, but we just don't, we're not using our mana for anything. Oh, so what are we even training right now? Dodging and shields, because we're at max with fighting and axes. We did find a triple crossbow at some point. Yeah, let's go grab that. Let's go grab that and start training crossbows. Because I want a better ranged option for Volts 5 than what we have right now, which is sort of a mixed bag of evocables, some of which require just as much time to swap to as a crossbow will. We can also turn on armor. Let's turn on armor and focus crossbows. That seems good. We don't really need anything at this point. We have fighting and axes maxed, and armor is already high enough that it's going to be... it's already doing the work that it needs to do. Let's put it that way. Anything else is kind of icing on top. We could train up invocations or evocations further. I don't see a strong need to. Invocations would be what I would train were I to train one of them, but I haven't been particularly impressed with Kozlol's activated abilities so far. Elemental Force is okay. It's fine. I've used it to moderately good effect once or twice, and to some effect maybe 3 more times than that. I think I've only used it once or twice with no effect. And I did find out, unfortunately, that it is not as cool as I wanted it to be. It does not affect clouds that you create with a Rod of Clouds. At least I did not see it do so. I believe it only affects the clouds that you create around you as a natural result of being Kozlolite. A Kozlolite? Does that work? I think it works. Okay, now let's head back to Zod. We will gain a surprising amount of hit points, or experience points, these last couple of levels. Just because everything else is so strong. Of course, we need to get it to level 26 to hit minimum delay with our triple crossbow, but I'm okay with it not being minimum delay for now. It's at, I know it's just insane. Yeah. Base attack delay is 2.3. The minimum delay is a full second. Whee! And right now our load is at 18, so it's 0.9 less. So so right now we're at a delay of 1.4, which means that attacking with the crossbow and swapping to our axe takes less than 2 turns, which is important for reasons. Let's go ahead and wield it now to make sure. Oh, we can't wield that with the shield. Ooh, that's somewhat of a problem. I hadn't thought about that. Let's still try it out. A +6 triple crossbow of flaming. That seems good. Base damage 22. Seems very good. I also know that it is 90% weighted towards strength, so we are getting quite a bit of benefit from having 37 strength from this. Alright. I suppose it might also be useful to pick up some bolts at some point. But really, I'm just hanging on to it because I want to be training the skill. That's really the long and short of it. I won't worry about actually using that triple crossbow until we get to Bolts 5. Because ranged, sort of pulling one thing at a time is really important there, and I don't know if that's going to be remotely possible with as much noise as we make naturally from our clouds that we're creating around us. Giant explosions and thunderstorms and weird freezing bursts of cold. That's the one that doesn't really make sense to me. I guess Ice Storm is a spell. Or maybe it's something different now. I think it's called something different. It used to be the level 9 ice spell was Ice Storm, and it was basically just Firestorm, but kind of worse. But they changed it to something slightly different and arguably as strong as Firestorm, though I remain of the opinion that Firestorm is still the best spell in the game. With maybe Tornado being second and the new ice thing being third. I've been chatterboxing, and these are zombies though, right? Yeah, I don't really care about the zombies. So really we're only fighting 2 things right here. 3 with this zealot. But I think we're okay. Do kind of want to slash up at least one of those zombies so we have an actual escape route. in case things go south, but I think we're fine. Okay. That was an okay fight. I don't feel too badly about it. It was reckless of me, certainly. Oh, and I was 2 off on my estimate of our health. I thought we would end up at 275. I hedged my bets by saying 274, but it turns out it's 273. Just unforgivable. Sorry, guys and gals and others. Eat some dragon here. Yummy, yummy dragon. I don't know if dragon. I don't know how dragon would taste. If it tasted kind of like alligator, I'd be okay with it. Or crocodile. I haven't had as much crocodile as alligator. In fact, I don't think I've had crocodile. I know I've had alligator. I have the realization that I don't believe that crocodiles are native to North America. Another cloak of darkness that we don't care about. Any other cool cloaks? Nope. We'll just go to our basically generic +2 cloak. We already had poison resistance from our jaunty cap. It's cool scroll requirement hat that we got with our 4th scroll requirement. I feel like we've been getting hungry really quickly, but maybe I'm just imagining things. Yeah, we're still moving at 1 turn per tile, so that's not anything unusual. Once again, I'm fighting these things in the middle of an open room instead of in a corridor like I should be. Best way to do it is to do it around an actual corner here. And then, I mean, you can kind of march down if you don't think they're going to close, but best to have a decent line of sight block. At the very least, this distances us somewhat, in theory, from other creatures, but shifters are just so obnoxious. Fortunately, we were not banished to the abyss there. Because they can do that. They can just send you straight to the abyss. Although, really, I am tempted just to go to the abyss and grab a rune, get a little bit higher score, make it a 4 rune run instead of a 3 rune run. I mean, I think that's very doable and not dangerous to us. Or not unreasonably dangerous to us. Many draconians. Yeah, because, I mean, we're just sort of waltzing our way through Zot here. What was that? Shields up to level 18. Cool. 23 is where we want to get it. And then we will stop. 23 or 25. I don't remember which it is. It might be 25. To reach the complete elimination of melee penalty and evasion penalty, I think. I don't know about evasion. Definitely melee penalty for using a large shield. Ooh, we can actually the fact that we now have a +6 triple crossbow of flaming, what can it be maximally enchanted to? +9 as well? Okay. The fact that we have that and an executioner's axe going on means I'm hesitant to use this scroll right away. We have been very fortunate in that we have not run into any orbs of fire yet. I'm not even going to bother knocking on wood because I know it will happen, and it will happen soon. It's guaranteed to happen on the next level, and at least I believe it's still guaranteed. I think some aspects of Zot 5 are randomized, but I believe some are static, and I believe that some of the static elements are orbs of fire, which are just so awful. I believe we have our Amulet of Resist Mutation on... No, I mean, we're not wearing it, but we have it on us. And we can sacrifice the magic resistance against the orb. That's also fine. So, we're not in too bad shape. Ooh, a Scroll of Acquirement. That's nice. Ooh, do we only have Wands of Healing left? Because if we have Wands of... Oh, Wand of Enslavement. Ugh. I'm kind of tempted to ask for a Wand anyway. And hope that we get a Wand of Healing, because I feel like that is the last major key in our set of keys. The last missing tool from our toolbox, let's put it that way. We have tons of scrolls of recharging, so we have effectively unlimited charges. The only time that would not be considered unlimited charges is if we're going to do the extended endgame, which I don't think we are. I don't really want to tackle Pandemonium with this guy. I don't know. We'll see. Let's one step at a time. Let's get to the orb first. The reason is I really for sure want this to be an Ascension on livestream, because that would be cool. Just a lot of fun, I think, to share that with others. And the best way to do that is to not take stupid risks, like going into Pandemonium without any spells. I just feel like that's really risky. I'm sure it's very doable, but I would rather take my runes in the hand rather than runes in the bushes of Pandemonium. That is kind of a tangent, though, because what we want to do right now is decide between armor and jewelry for this request. Not armor and jewelry, armor and wands. Armor, we are still lacking a good cloak. We are still lacking good gloves. And that's it. I guess shield, in theory, there could be something better than a large shield of reflection. I don't think that that's the case. There may be some... I mean, if we get an artifact shield with the reflection ego, that's right, it's egos with non-weapon, with armor items, and brands with weapons. Anyway, there may be artifacts with that ego. I've seen none of them, so I'm sure they're very rare if they exist. I would imagine that they exist somewhere. But I'm not banking on it. It will probably just be, yay, a shield of protection. Here, have more armor class. We don't want more armor class. We don't want no stick in armor class. So, and there's always a chance that it will, even though it's weighted towards slots that we don't have artifacts for which we don't have artifacts, it's still not guaranteed. We might just get a redundant arm. That being said, we might also very well get a redundant wand or a wand of enslavement, which is dumb, or something. We only have 7 potions of heal wounds, and I feel like it's worth burning the Scroll of Acquirement on a useless wand on the off chance that we'll get a wand of healing. Because we have a wand of hasting and a wand of teleportation. Well, we don't have a wand of teleportation on us, but we have 18 scrolls that can't be burned. So I'm not too worried about that. We're not going to play teleportation roulette anytime soon. So yeah, let's go for a wand. Our equipment is great at this point anyway. An upgrade from gloves of dexterity into artifact gloves is not going to be so impactful that I'm going to regret this decision. Had it been a choice between artifact gloves and a wand of healing, I would choose the wand of healing. And so taking a chance at a wand of healing beats taking a chance at artifact armor right now. So, here we go. It is unidentified. Yes, there we go. Good. See? All according to plan. Now we have a wand of heal wounds, we have a zillion scrolls of recharging. we are just in really good shape. We can win this game. We can and should win this game, I will go so far as to say. There we go. There's our Orb of Fire. With a Moth of Wrath there, I don't know if Moths of Wrath can cause Orbs of Fire to go berserk. But that's really not something that I want to risk. Okay, so Orbs of Fire are the most dangerous enemies outside of Pandemonium in the Hills. Pandemonium, the Hells, Ziggurats. Yeah. And arguably the Tomb, arguably mummies, the strongest of the mummies are more difficult to deal with than Orbs of Fire. I could see that argument being made. Short of that, they're just the worst. They are very, very strong. They're resistant to almost everything. They have incredibly high armor class. And they can mutate you. So you have to wear a source of resist mutation, or you're just in trouble. There's not the smallest orb which thou behold'st, but in his motion like an angel sings, still choiring to the young-eyed cherubims. Merchant of Venice is an excellent play. Okay, about enough Shakespeare. Right, so first things first, we need to put on our Amulet of Resist Mutation. Okay. Which drops us down to not a ton of magic resistance, but that's okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to breathe fire, I think, at this Moth of Wrath, in hopes of killing it. The Orb of Fire glows deep purple. I don't know what that means. I don't remember what that means. It might mean that it's mutagenic at the moment. Regardless, what we're going to do is we're going to evoke this Wand of Cold. And yes, kill the Moth of Wrath. Excellent. Alright, this Red Draconian Thunder... Yeah, he's standing in a thundercloud anyway, and he will be caught by our axe, so I am going to start hacking away at this Orb of Fire. Okay. Ooh. Interesting. Good to know that we can crit that hard. The 3 exclamation points on "you open the Orb of Fire like a pillowcase" means that we did, I think, the 30% extra damage, the full 30% extra damage from the chop. That looked like a kind of a max damage hit. Cool. Alright, so that went pretty well. We'll go ahead and switch back to Clarity. I feel better about having Clarity and a ton of magic resistance than I do about having just resist mutation, because Orbs of Fire are much less common, even though they are much more dangerous than everything else. They are rare enough that I can... I mean, very little of my actual time in the dungeon will be spent wearing Amulets of Resist Mutation. Oop. I'm not sure what I did there. Almost saved the game and exited, which would have been silly. Killer Clowns. Oh, I turned on the caps lock somehow. That's what happened. Okay. A Killer Clown. A comical figure full of life and laughter. It looks very happy to see you. But is there a slightly malicious cast to its features? Is that red face paint, or something altogether less pleasant? Ba-ba-ba. All the world loves a clown. Okay. Sure. What kind of draconian is this? One that I don't really care about one way or another. The Killer Clowns kind of blink around a bunch, and they change based on their color, their attack type. With, I believe, the cold being the strongest. I might be making that up. I know I heard somewhere that the cold, the blue, light blue killer clowns are the most dangerous form. But I do not know if the person saying that was accurate in that statement. Alright, let's try this cloak, see if it's any good. Yes. Just a +2 cloak. Since technically it's better to wear a cloak with poison resistance than not, since for some reason I could want to remove my hat. I can't fathom why, but should I wish to remove my hat, I will not have to replace my cloak to remain resistant to poison, though not a whole lot of poison damage at this point in the game. Gold dragons and these green draconians are just about the only sources of it. And just chopping away. I suppose in theory one route you could take with Kozlov would be to only ever have 2 pips of resistance in the elemental resistances, because of the temporary protection granted when you are damaged by a source of elemental damage. When you are damaged by damage. Ooh, that's right. I think there's only one staircase down into Zot 5. I think that is true. I do want to make sure and explore all staircase connections here. Oh, okay, no, I was wrong. There are 3 staircases down. That's good. Check out this escape hatch. This is for the return trip, so that we can trust the game's algorithms to provide the shortest path between staircases, which it's pretty good about. If I were really, really concerned, I would retrace my steps and make sure we've explored every single staircase in the entire dungeon and depths. I'm not that concerned. It's escaping with the orb. If you can get to the orb by killing all of the monsters between you and it, you don't have to worry about escaping with the orb all that much. It's still dangerous, still very dangerous, but if you're not trying to like sneak, do a low level run or something like that, yeah, and it just takes a lot of time, which maybe I'll do that off stream at some point. I'll just roam around the dungeon tidying up my staircase paths, because that's the smart thing to do. That's the correct play. The nice thing about Kroll is that there is, and I think I may have said this before, but there is always a correct action to take. You may not be able to discern what it is with any predictable accuracy, but there is a correct action. Predictable accuracy meaning, in the context that I'm using it, without being able to know what the random elements of the game will provide for you, such as what monsters are on the level but cannot be seen, and the amount of damage that you do with any given spell or strike, and I don't know, the spells that things cast and which order they cast them in, and in which order they cast them. So there are some things where you have no control over, and the only thing you can do is reduce the chance that the other variables involved in the situation will be your downfall. Yeah, the Mouths of Wrath. Mouths of Wrath, indeed. And the other part of that is being able to process information rapidly enough to make those decisions as to what the correct move is fast enough that you don't get bored. Because it does you no good to be able to figure out what the correct choice is if every time you make yourself miserable doing so. So we have attracted an Orb Guardian. Huzzah! This will be an interesting check for us to see if we can kill these guys. A huge, glowing, four-limbed purple creature with heightened senses created by the orb to watch over itself. It guards the orb with enormous punctiliousness and violence. I actually don't know what punctiliousness is. Let's look that up. Punctilious. Showing, okay, it is kind of like what it sounds like. It is showing great attention to detail or correct behavior. So, 10 or 10 of OCD. Punctilious. I like it. That can be a word that I use in daily life. I work with some punctilious people. That was also really poor play there. Running across the room into an ancient lich. Should have backed up to here and made all those things come to us. And in fact, we will. These 180-degree turns are often the best situation you can put yourself in, where things are coming from sort of this direction, because you can step up to block all that line of sight and whatnot. Clown will discover us soon enough. Plus, this is kind of cool because there's a reasonably high chance that one of our clouds will be filling the doorway at any given point, and we can make use of that somehow. Ooh, an orb of fire, eh? Oh, and are we... No, he has to be standing there for the lightning bolt to hit us twice. Okay. From here, it just hits there, and... maybe it does. We should step here. I know it means attacking both at once, but... Ooh, yikes. Okay, well, fortunately we didn't lose too much before I correct my stupidity. Oh, we feel ourselves wasting away. Curses. Alright, well, we'll have to blow our Potion of Cure Mutation because of that mistake. I don't want to deal with deterioration. It's just a big hassle. It eats up a lot of resources. There is also no guarantee that that will be cured, unfortunately. But I really want to try. Body slowly deteriorating is either hit point or stat point decay, and I do not wish to deal with either. It either takes a whole lot of potions of curing. I guess I should eat that frog. Okay. Nope. Alright. Potion of Cure Mutation. Okay, it got rid of everything. Well, we lost our cool fire breath and poison breath that we never used and didn't really care about. So let's keep mutating. Yellow scales grow over part of our body. I think that's really good. Resist corrosion, maybe? Oh, maybe it's only... Yeah, it's only armor class +2 at this point. Well, still, free armor class, that's nice. Greetings, Citizen Doodrich. Welcome. Good to see you, man. How was your day? Still don't want to switch any of these things up. Okay. We return to Zot. An 8-headed Hydra, huh? Let's see if we can... 10-headed Hydra? We got up to an 11-headed Hydra? Cool. In the late game, when we're this strong, it becomes kind of fun to see how many heads we can get on the Hydra and still slay it. Though it's never as much as the Leonin Hydra, which has 27 heads. Normal Hydras cap out at 20. Well, let's take care of the thing that's potentially going to corrode our equipment into oblivion. And we were put under stasis for a while, it seems. We need to eat. Ooh, I'm glad that Mrs. Doodrich chose potato soup. That was a very wise choice. She's a wise lady. Yeah, we are close to the orb. We're on, well, with a brief detour right at this exact moment to kill some wayward Draconians, we are on Zot 5. Which is really cool and really scary. We just encountered an orb of fire that mutated us, and it was bad. But we got the mutations cleansed off, and I think at this point it actually is safe to leave on the Amulet of Resist Mutation. Orbs of fire are common enough on Zot 5 that we will definitely encounter more of them. Furthermore, all the enemies on Zot 5 are dangerous enough to warrant saving as many turns as possible, including just, a single turn swapping amulets. In that single turn that we're swapping out the amulet, we could be mutated by the Orb of Fire. That is the reason why we're swapping out the amulet, which is not exactly what happened last time. I was just playing poorly and didn't switch over when I saw the thing. I didn't... Really, every time you see an Orb of Fire, you should stop and take stock of the situation. Just kind of take a deep breath and think about how screwed you are, and then figure out your options from there. Okay, so let's put a quick exclusion here since that is the entrance to the sort of orb heart. There's a number of chambers that surround the orb for sort of 5 chambers, basically. 6 chambers total, including the one that the orb sits in. It's in the orb's here in this chamber, and then there are 2 chambers on either side, and those connect to 2 chambers that are here and here, and those connect to this chamber here in the center. So we can take the aortic path or the ventral path. There it is. Pretty sure it's ventral. I am not a medical doctor. And really, I'm not any kind of doctor. You can call yourself a doctor with a Juris Doctorate, but you sound like a real douche. I don't know any lawyers who call themselves doctor who don't also have a PhD. Which is not something that I have any desire to acquire anytime soon. Maybe in 20 years when I'm older and bored. I imagine I'll be bored of whatever I'm doing for for the next 20 years by the end of the next 20 years. Okay. An Orb Guardian and an Orb of Fire. That might be fine, actually. Let's step down one. This way the orb can't blast us with fire because it won't shoot through its ally because it doesn't have fire immunity. It will fan out to here and start attacking us, but I don't think these guys can damage us all that much. They do have a lot of hit points, but if you have over 30 armor class, it's really just not that scary. Let's drink this potion of haste. We've got our wand of haste. Oh, that's an interesting. Oh, because there's this cloud of thunder here. Okay, well, that's actually a negative quality of Kozlal here. Keeping distance between us and this orb of fire. Well, let's do this then. There we go. The orb of fire glows yellow. I don't know what that means. Glows bright magenta. I don't know what that means either. Maybe it just glows different colors. I don't know. But we came out on top with no nasty mutations. Let's see if it just waltzes in the teleport trap. That'd be cool. Zap. Sucker. If a monster sees another monster walk into a teleport trap, I think, well, definitely all intelligent monsters. I don't know about animal or mindless monsters. Hasted Ancient Lich, eh? I don't want to let you stand back and just cast spells at me. Okay. We are confused, which means we need to quaff a potion of curing. I don't think that's a state that we can afford to maintain for very long. Okay, excellent. Now we can back off. We can see if more critters walk through the teleport trap. That'd be cool. Crossbow's already at level 21. We just started training it again. Yeah, all of these things are fine. I may turn off armor when it gets to 24. See if we can't crank up crossbows a smidgen. I don't know why they were just sort of standing there. What increased to what? Dodging increased to level 17. Okay. Wow, our evasion is 30? That seems really high. How do we end up with 30 evasion? I guess just raising our dodging skill and wearing light-ish armor? Huh. Weird. Last time I checked, we were like 19. Or 17. We are wearing armor. Oh, maybe that's why our shield skill is getting better alongside our dodging skill. And our shield skill is preventing our... or is reducing the penalty that our shield is giving to our evasion. So we're gaining it from two sources at once. Alright. Another orb of fire. Let's shoot some cold at it. It is slightly less resistant to cold than it is to everything else. Moth of Wrath has to die first. Okay. Alright, still no mutations. Okay. Got it. Excellent. Excellent. Let's see, the problem with these chambers is that to explore them, you have to venture out here, and then you can attract things from over here. I probably did that poorly. I probably should have just, I don't know, launched stuff over this way until all of the stuff pulled out of that room to over here. instead of exploring this room. That was the safer choice. I feel odd for a moment. Okay, see, it tried to mutate us there. Ooh, 2 orbs of fire, huh? Let's get out of here. I really don't want to fight 3 orbs of fire at once. Wow. Okay, another scroll of teleportation. Did not want to end up in one of these. Generally, by the time you've reached this part of Zot 5, reading a teleport scroll is safe to take you back here. It's about the same amount of ground, I think. It's about a 50-50 chance. But I think that's good enough when you're fighting down a bunch of these things at the same time. Well, here we are in the orb room, dear viewers. With all these guardians around us. Why don't we haste ourselves here? That seems like a good idea. And let's go ahead and teleport out again. I feel like just grabbing the orb is a poor choice right here. Because there are a few other things that I might want to do before we ascend. Although I really am just tearing up these guardians. This is kind of cool. Huh, that was neat. I did a lot of damage there. Go ahead and eat some food. We have more perma food than... Yeah, those things really are... Yeah, that room is just... They're totally surrounded. Yeah, the orb is very heavily protected. Not to be trifled with. Individually, these guys aren't bad, if you have a high enough armor class. Okay. Alright, I'd really like to finish this one off. Okay. We are weak, strength -2. Nothing we can do about that. And amulets of resist mutation are only 90% effective, sadly. There are mutations that make you immune to further mutation. And also just having lots of mutations makes it less likely for you to be mutated. See, I showed restraint that time. I backed up here instead of venturing out over here and getting into trouble again. Let's continue to back up in this particular scenario to the very entrance over here. Oh, that's the other thing about the Orb Guardians. They're really, really fast. So don't try to outrun them. Will not go too well for you, unfortunately. Okay. Ooh, I took an extra step there. That was bad. Yeah, definitely bad. I do like it that we're headbutting this orb of fire periodically. We aren't really taking any damage from it, though. Not one-on-one. I mean, we're taking some damage, but not as much as I anticipated. I guess 3 pips of fire resistance is not something that you're necessarily guaranteed to have by this point. And so there may have been instances where I've fought these things without 3 pips. It's a very poor choice. You will take a lot of damage. Take a lot of damage. But it's doable. They can be killed. They can be slain. Oh, it can see the... Shucks. Armor fits poorly on a strangely shaped body. Okay. Oh, but we can now spit poison. Thanks, weird orb of fire. Still wearing amulet of resist mutation. Yeah, okay. Oh, all those little blue and red explosions. Those are awesome. Those are clouds of freezing vapor and flame, and these sort of darker ones are clouds of thunder that periodically strike things with lightning bolts. Those are created by Kozlal, our God of Storms. We are the end of an era, a prized avatar of Kozlol. Yeah, we're surrounded by a storm that gives us a free, hands-free shield, like 8 points at max piety, and creates all these cool clouds around us that do surprisingly large amounts of damage. I think that these clouds have been responsible for a couple hundred kills. Well, maybe not quite that many. How many things have we killed? Well, that's a character dump. I did post these things on a who's what's it's the GitHub. Wow, that makes me feel real old. I think I said this last time too, but I do have that link here. Let me pop open chat and all. Yeah, let the forces of nature tear it all down. Excellent. Welcome back, T-Buck. Thanks for joining us. We have 4 people. That's cool. Welcome, all of you. New viewers and old. Okay, here we go. This is the link to the dump from the beginning of the game, which is roughly similar to. I mean, it's pretty similar to what we have now. We haven't switched out any equipment, I don't believe. And here is there we go. That's the dot list, the items that are on the ground throughout the entire dungeon. So if you really want to know what we have access to but are not carrying with us, you can use that one. Boom, baby. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, I'm sure that it's on there somewhere how we've killed all of our enemies, but I don't know that it's that easily figured out. Ooh, auto-exploring. Yikes, auto-exploring is kind of a bad idea here. Let's go ahead and mark little exclusions so that we don't auto-explore into these rooms and get real sad. I think we can safely, if things wander their way in here and drop items, we can auto-explore to check to see if there are any cool artifacts and whatnot, but I really want to limit our blunders here. That sort of teleport hopping that we did earlier was really just the result of poor play on my part. We should not have had to do that. We should not have gotten into a situation where we had to use teleport at all. I mean, I know what's in these rooms. I've done it before, and I know which of those times I have died, and I know which of those times I have survived, and I know what the difference is between them. And it's important to know that. Okay. Ah, shucks. Well, sad that clown blinked. It was being a nice shield from the bolts of fire. Okay. Alright, man, these mutations. That is our missing resource this game. Every game that I've ever played, there has been at least one major important thing that has been missing just the entire game. I played one, I think it was an Ascension even, where I don't think I got more than a dozen scrolls of Identify the entire game. It was just an absurdly low number, and it was a huge hassle. This run, we only found 1 potion of Cure Mutation. We have found 3 potions of Beneficial Mutation, which has given us some breath weapons earlier, one of which we actually got back from an orb of fire, and some scales. Yay, scales. So I'm actually not as scared of 8 orb guardians in the central chamber as I am of the orbs of fire in the surrounding chambers. So we're gonna just, you know, be cautious, be thorough, and kill us some critters. Hello, making lots of noise. Come get me. I dare you. I mean, come get me, I dare you. No, I don't want to walk into the Zop trap. Unlike many of the yes-no questions in this game, walking into a Zop trap requires the same type the word yes confirmation that deleting your character does. That suiciding your player. That's the only other thing that I'm aware of that requires typing YES. Which is, I think, pretty funny. And it also emphasizes the nastiness of Zop traps. Yeah, these guys are nothing. Nothing. We have over 10,000 gold, and there's the orb. You couldn't see it last time because it was underneath the Vault Guardian, but here, my dear viewers, he's good at that, is the fabled Orb of Zot. Once we have escaped to the surface with this invaluable artifact, our quest is complete. Okay, so I'm just going to explore the rest of this area to make sure that we aren't assaulted by a couple of orbs of fire as soon as we grab the orb. That's always embarrassing. All right, so I'll put it up to you, dear viewers. Do you want me to grab the orb and run out? Do you want to win right now? Or do you want me to grab some more runes? I'm totally down for either one. I don't really want to do too much of Pandemonium or more than just a couple of floors of a ziggurat with this character. I don't trust it enough. I without things like Firestorm, I don't feel really comfortable doing a lot of the post endgame, or the extended endgame rather. Do it. All right. Let's do it right now. Let's win the game. We have 3 runes: the Barnacled, Silver, and Gossamer rune. That's all we need. That's all we care about. We are going to grab the orb, take it out to the upper world, where we're going to use it to make soup for everyone. Wah! The lords of Pandemonium are not amused. Beware! Alright, now all we have to do is get out. So let's read a scroll of teleportation, because we can't get further away than this room, though it does take a lot longer for it to trigger when you're carrying the orb. Okay. Things spawn around us like crazy, including Lords of Pandemonium, who are not very pleasant. Sharoomph does deserve to taste victory. You are correct. All right. See, this is the kind of situation where it's scary, where we have a hallway. Where is this? Okay. All right. Yeah, if we get into a choke point with the Lord of Pandemonium, we've got to just hope that we can kill Lord of Pandemonium. Hi, Vault Guardian. We can kill you. Yeah, Zot monsters, Pandemonium lords, all kinds of nasty stuff starts spawning on every level of the dungeon from Zot on upward, and a lot of it's really scary. These are the things that we would be fighting just swarms of were we to go to Pandemonium. All over. Okay, cool. Well, we're out of Zot. That's good. Let's kill this Black Sun. I think that having it follow us around is probably a bad call. Let's eat a meat ration. Let's grab this cool spear. So that we can get a slightly higher score. I think it only counts what you take out of the dungeon with you in your score. I'm not certain about that. It might. Where is that from here? Okay. It might count just everything that's on the ground. No, let's haste ourselves. So that we can ascend these stairs without the demon there. Here we go. Alright. Doing it. We're almost out of the depths. Let's not get turned to stone by this Catoplepus. I was really proud of myself when I learned how to pronounce the word Catoplepus. Alright. Oh. Cioracel, the Pandemonium Lord of Bunions. It may possess any of a vast number of diabolical powers. It is a powerful demon with a furry body and a single eye in the center of its forehead. It radiates an aura of extreme power, and we are going to... Oh, it caught up with us. Oh, chop it down! Die! Die, Cioracel! Ha! Gotcha. Bam. Okay, sun demons. If you are very diligent, you can actually map, like, you can just map your route to the surface before you do any of this and come up with, like, not only the shortest route, but the safest route. Okay. There's also no reason to move any more rapidly than you did before. But if everything feels more urgent when you're carrying the orb, and it's oh no, Ooling. Has a wrinkled body with large insectoid rings. Gross. A wrinkled body. Let's haste ourselves again. Doesn't really matter if we get mutated at this point. Hellfire. Ow. Where are we going? Okay. Oh, eyes. Oh no. Oh, this is so dangerous. Oh, geez. We are in some trouble here. Let's put on our Amulet of Warding and read a blink scroll. We can't control our blinking, but there we go. I figured it would at least get us a little bit further away. Far enough away that we might be able to make it to these stairs. Okay. Alright, we're good. We're good. Whew, back on track. Don't stand in my way. Ooh, Ice Fiends. Okay. Screw you, Sigmund. Pick up his stuff, and we're actually gonna... Not anymore. I was gonna say we'll take the time to butcher his corpse, but I'm not willing to go that far for petty revenge. That was pretty satisfying to run into him on the way out. I'm glad that he's like gonna be one of the last monsters we kill. Oh, and here we go. Here we go. We're so close, dear viewers. So close. Push. Close the door. All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it. We're laughing at all these imprisoned monsters. And here we go. Ta-da! We win! We have escaped. With the Orb of Zot, we have beaten Crawl. All in a day's work. Awesome. Very awesome. This was a very cool run. Pretty fast. Yeah, that's the difference in score between a 15 rune run and a 3 rune run. But we did it. We did it. We beat the game, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. I would not be here were it not for you. So thank you. This was a lot of fun. I think this is Ascension 6. So I did 5 or 6, and it's still really satisfying. It's a great feeling. It's pretty cool. Yeah, oh wow, that was pretty nice. Pretty nice. Whew. Well, thanks for watching that with me. That was kind of a rush. What's next? You have a vote. I will. If you have something in particular that you want to see, I'll start that up right now. Otherwise, I was considering doing some kind of spellcastery thing that I haven't done before. I definitely want to try a race that I haven't ascended with yet. So far, I've done Gargoyle, Naga, Minotaur, basically Demon Spawn. I have died in the extended endgame with the Demon Spawn, past the Orb of Zot. But I don't know about that. Deep Dwarf, I think? Yeah, I've ascended with a Deep Dwarf, Grumbletooth. Yeah, Slitherface was the Naga, Grumbletooth was the Deep Dwarf, Granite Grant was the Gargoyle. I feel like there was one more. Some sort of spellcaster. Okay, well, we'll do some sort of spellcaster, and we will name ourselves. What shall we name ourselves? My first temptation was Nostro, but that's a little bit of an inside joke, I think. Well, let's leave the name blank for now. We'll come up with that in a minute. So let's pick our background first, and then figure out our race from there. Buck Doodrich. In honor of Stanley Doodrich, I will name this character Buck Doodrich. Stanley Doodrich was the one that convinced me to start streaming, and so I think it's only fair that Buck Doodrich goes down in the logs of probably the morgue. Let's be honest here with ourselves. But still a tribute. Okay, so space is pick background first. Okay, so Wizard is kind of Buck Doodrich and T-Buck. All right. The Wizard is kind of the jack of all trades of the spellcaster world. You start off with higher magic reserves than any of the other backgrounds, and higher intelligence, which is more relevant. But, on the other hand, you start with a spellbook that's only kind of utility. Like, it takes a lot of practice to survive early on with a wizard. You have Column of Flame and Mephitic Cloud, maybe, and Blink. It's a cool background. I like it a lot. Conjurer is more straightforward. You just boom, boom, zap things with your conjurations. Summoners I don't like. The summoner background is just... The starting summoner book is terrible. Summon Small Mammal is basically useless. Summon Imp or Call Imp is still basically useless. I mean, not. There are ways to use them properly and to do well with it, but I don't like messing with it, especially in the early levels where it, you're going to die a lot anyway. You're going to go through several characters before you get one to the point where they're sort of self-sustainable, and I don't want that to be a real pain in the keister with summoning a whole bunch of lame stuff. Necromancer, on the other hand, is an option. Pain is really cool, especially if you're undead. All the elementalists are viable. Ice is the strongest. Yes, ice is the strongest. It has a couple of really good attack spells and some good utility. Air is mostly utility. This is best if you plan on taking a just taking this for a couple levels of utility spells and focusing entirely on melee from the get-go, like putting all your early experience into melee or armor or something, is what I tend to do with this. Venom Mage I also don't like all that much. Poison falls off real fast in the late game, and so you have to train it early game since it's your primary damage source. Mummy Necromancer, all right. I could do a Mummy Necromancer. It's mummies are tough. Mummies are real tough, but they are immune to some of the backlash effects, torment and whatnot. The downside is they can't drink potions, and they have poor aptitudes, generally speaking. What is our name today? Oh yes, that's right. Buck Doodrich the Third. Pharaoh. Pharaoh Buck. Pharaoh Buck. Yeah, that's what we'll go with. If you're mummified, you gotta be a pharaoh. Okay, so skills. We have spellcasting, necromancy. All right, so there is a little bit of a trickiness to initial. Okay, so our aptitudes are pretty bad in everything except for necromancy. So we definitely want to, at the very least, train it. Probably focus it. We want to be as efficient as we can with our early experience points. For this reason, I also want to put some points into either dodging or stealth. Dodging for when things actually catch up to us. I think I prefer stealth because it lets us get out of danger faster. I think that if we're in melee range, we've already screwed up enough, and we do have some. Ooh, that's true. Let's look at our spellbook. Let's do that because vampiric draining, if I recall properly, is a touch spell. Yeah, and so we will want to be able to stand toe-to-toe in melee because that is a nice form of regeneration if you can use it properly. Because I don't know if actual regeneration works on us. Maybe vampiric draining doesn't work on us. I don't know. Regardless, I think we're going to put some points into dodging, but not many. Just trickle a little bit in there. Generally speaking, you want to put most of your experience points into your offensive abilities early on, just because all of the backgrounds are relatively weak. We can afford to put some points into not that, because we can just really abuse the pain spell, which normally... oh, no, I want to see the description. Yeah, the caster suffers minor damage from the backlash. That is not true with mummies. So, or other undead, for that matter. Because you don't have nerves anymore, you can't experience pain. And so, because of that, this spell is more powerful than it ought to be for a level 1 spell if you're not experiencing that backlash. Okay, so we're off. miscast right away. I assume that damage was, yeah, from the bat. Okay. Come to me, my goblin-y friend. Wow, I have to get back in the habit of not being almost invincible here. I suppose we could memorize anti-skeleton as well. There's not a lot. There's not a big reason not to. I think it will be useful throughout the game, assuming we find some skeletons here. There we go. I see, you have to be standing on it. That's fine. So the nice thing about undead is that they last until they die, or they last until they are slain, rather. The downside is you can't take them with you. Cool. Oh no, never mind, not cool. Goblin skeleton, got it. The other downside is that if your minions kill something, you get a reduced amount of experience, which is kind of rough. Because you share the experience with whatever actually killed it. I'm not sure what ratio that is, but it's still a little annoying. Oh, and they can't follow you up or downstairs. I don't know if I said that in my ramblings about upsides and downsides. Need to remember to do that. 2 yellow potions that we will never be able to drink. We thirst eternally. Is pain smite targeting? No. Okay. Smite targeted spells are good. Really good. Airstrike is one off the top of my head. Haunt is one that we will actually want to use eventually. It's no longer as strong to just spam Haunt as it once was. There is now a penalty for undead using it. It used to be you could just, if you were a mummy or a vampire, I think prior to 0.13 or 0.14, Haunt had the same kind of self-torment effect as pain and torment and all those things. So you could just smite target, kill things, and I don't know. It was a very abusable spell. It is less so now. We have to run away. Yeah. This spell, by the way, is why it actually matters that things leave behind skeletons once you're done skinning them. Or decay into skeletons, because skeletons last longer than meat stays fresh. I think once we get up to like level 3 of dodging, we'll turn it off. 15 or so evasion. Feels about right. There we go. You can kind of set up kills by letting things attack your enemies until one or the other is at low health, and then swooping in to save the day. Or just let your thing die while it's, and then, you know, resurrect more critters. Gonna kind of kite back here, taking a little bit of damage, but not enough to be particularly concerned. All our points are going to go into intelligence. That's, for a pure spellcaster, it's kind of non-optional. I mean, I guess there is an argument to be made for putting points into dexterity, in that spellcasters are so frail that having just that extra evasion can be a lifesaver, but I feel like the benefits of having a really high intelligence are much greater than the benefits of having added survivability. Namely, there are cool spells that will do anything you want to do with your dexterity. They'll do it for you, because spells are awesome. And the higher your intelligence, the more effective your spells are at that. Okay. So let's look for no dagger, short sword, no other short blades. Are any of all of our weapon aptitudes are bad? So we'll probably want to just wait for a staff. We can grab a short sword in the meantime to have a weapon. Let's see what all weapons we've got here. Let's grab a short sword. And let's grab this sling. It's actually useful to have. I guess we can just turn on picking up sling bullets automatically. I don't want to pick up... might as well pick up stones automatically. They don't have weight anymore, so... Okay. Alright, so now we have a ranged option. Let's press the equals key, and then I for items to reassign our short sword to A, and do it again, equals I to assign our hunting sling to B, so that when we press the apostrophe key, it will swap back and forth between our short sword and our hunting sling. We'll leave it on hunting sling as a default. Oh, and I guess we can't. I guess cockroaches don't really have skeletons once you've crushed them. Their exoskeletons have been shattered into useless chitin. Okay, so options. There's... oh yeah, we can't memorize regeneration, that's right. Animate dead. Raises zombies, which are better than skeletons, by and large. Can't think of too many situations where they're not. Control undead is okay. It's nice when we're fighting undead, but I don't think we need to worry about using spell slots on it anytime soon. So I think accidentally draining an undead or demonic creature will painfully backfire on the caster. Okay. So Vampiric Draining and Animate Dead are the spells that we're interested in. Vampiric Draining has a similar effect to Pain. Animate Skeleton has a similar effect to Animate Dead. The thing that I'm pondering right now is whether we're going to memorize Vampiric Draining now or wait until we level up and memorize Animate Dead and memorize Vampiric Draining either the level after or when we put one more skill point into spellcasting to get an extra spell level. I think that Animate Dead has the higher upside with a low mana reserve, namely 10 or so by the time we're level 5 or whatever. Not really sure what our mana reserves are going to be, how many magic points we will have. But I feel like just casting Animate Dead, getting a bunch of zombies, and then resting and letting zombies follow you around afterwards is generally going to be a better use of our mana than saving 3 mana points for Vampiric Draining when we can Pain from a range without a penalty. Unlike living necromancers, we don't have to use Vampiric Draining to get back the hit points from using Pain. So I think we can skip straight to Animate Dead. Yeah, I mean, Pain is good enough early on that we won't need something new by the time we have enough spell levels to memorize Vampiric Draining as well. Put on a helmet. We have little horns. Mummy helmet. Okay, here's a good opportunity to use our sling. While this is out of range of our pain spell. We don't have to worry nearly as much about adders, actually, because we are immune to poison, I believe. Maybe we're just resistant? No, that seems wrong. We do not eat or drink. We are vulnerable to fire, which is really, really scary. Really scary, especially since some orc wizards can cast fire spells early on. We are naturally cold resistant. We are immune to negative energy, which is so cool, so cool. Torment is such a pain. We can try and make, assuming we get that far, we can try and make this an extended endgame character. Because by the time you get there, potions don't generally matter too terribly much anyway, except for maybe potions of magic, since you have wands for all the important stuff. And Torment is a frequent enough offender that... Anyway. Resistant to poisons. Okay, so we are not, in fact, immune to poison. But that's okay. I suppose some embalming fluid flows in our desiccated veins. Scrolls are really important for mummies. Scrolls are super duper important. Because you don't have potions. We've reached level 4. Huzzah! Let's animate some dead. The thing I like about zombies is that they have more hit points. They have a lot of hit points compared to skeletons. We don't possess the recall spell, or recall. So, no. Casting the wrong spell there. Miscasting the spell quite a bit. What is our failure rate with that? 28%. Okay, no wonder. Alright, yeah, let's get dodging up to level 3. And then we'll turn it off. I think that's good enough for now to survive a little bit in melee. For a turn or two until our pain finishes them off. Or as we're kiting, more like. Our minions. Come follow me. I'm glad that you are attacking my foes. In principle. In practice, I'm greedy and want the experience, so take a chill pill, man. The dead are walking and slithering. I think there's also the dead are hopping. You can reanimate frogs. Here's where we can actually use our short sword and just bash a little bit. Okay, so we've got a little army of undead. Really shouldn't be wandering around without full mana. Something is being slain by our zombies. Cool. So, the question that we can start pondering now is what... it's really nice not having to eat also for using all these corpses for our zombies. What god do we want to worship? There's a strong argument for Kikobakudka, the god of necromancy. But there is also the argument to be made that you are likely enough to find the Necronomicon on your own at some point. Necronomicon being the uber-powerful necromancy spellbook. It's reasonable that you will find that on your own, and so the Max Piety Kikobakudka gift is kind of useless for you. I remember, I think it was Granite Grant, I had found multiple Necronomicons. I could be wrong. I'm not sure if that's actually possible, but... Okay, follow me so that we can back up a little ways and I can kill this worm myself. Okay, there we go. You can level up your minions, but the only time when that's really useful is when you have what are called durable summons, which are summons that never go away. It's similar to our undead, but that can climb stairs. Those are nice to have handy. Okay, so some of these things I'm being a little overly cautious. One could argue there's no such thing, but caution... Well, actually, we don't have a hunger clock, so caution really isn't penalizing us anything. So that wand is going to be a wand of random effects. We'll still pick it up. Because, you know, panic button. We will not be worshipping Zom. I kind of want Pharaoh Buck to do well. Ah. Well, there's an altar of Dithmenos. I don't know that we'll do Dithmenos. It's really better suited for either stabbers or melee types because of the cool Shadow Step ability. No. I'm just going to kill these butterflies. They're really annoying. Summon butterflies is an excellent spell for you to have because it makes it this annoying for all the monsters that are trying to get to you. Okay, dodging is getting there. A lot of potions so far that we can't use. No. I'll target the butterfly. Ijib. He claims dominion over this level of the dungeon. I have seen him on the same level as Sigmund before. I don't think Sigmund puts up with Ijib claiming that he's the master of the dungeon. But let's... we move out of line of sight there, don't we? We don't have the stealth to sneak up on him, I don't believe. So let's just start painting him. Really, that was the wrong choice. I should have run. From the very beginning. Level is mine, all mine. Actually, we could pull him upstairs to where we have zombies. That seems good. We'll have to do some... this butterfly is just killing us. Okay. Here we go. This is a better position from which to fight Ijib. Yes, excellent. Got him. It's a nice little experience boost. Actually, he didn't give us too terribly much, but, you know, maybe a cool dagger. Dagger of Venom. I'll take it. Okay. Cool. Rest in peace, Ijib. Orc Priest. That's scary. Pretty sure we're vulnerable to holy stuff. Since we're undead and all. I mean, it doesn't say, but I think it's safe to assume that Holy Smiting will be bad for us. Okay. Well, Dungeon 3 is where you kinda have to be cautious with your exploration. There we go. Because there are creatures like Jessica and Ijib. Is she in pain range? Yes, okay. Jessica is an evil apprentice sorceress. Pain, which we are immune to, actually. She's not that scary for us. That's cool. That's very cool. Pain, slow, haste, blink. Alright, I guess she could slow us and haste herself and hit us with her dagger a bunch, but it seems as though we're fine. Cool. Level 5. Dodging is getting there. Almost at level 3. Once it gets to 3, I'll stop. And a third scroll, probably of teleportation. Ooh, Natasha. Natasha is tough. 3 uniques on this level so far. Tough level 3. Magic Dart, slow, call Imp, Mephitic Cloud. Immune to Mephitic Cloud, which is nice. William Baldwin from 1584 talks about cats. Ah, the Grimalkin. Yeah. Weird creature that half humanoid or half cat. Witches. Anyway, Natasha has 3 lives. You must kill her 3 times. Which is inconvenient. This is really kind of bad. Okay. Let's... miscast. It's rough. Now we're out of mana, with Natasha breathing down our necks. I wonder where those orcs came from. That's unfortunate. I suppose we should have been exploring kind of in a spiral path out from where we already knew. So we got ourselves into this situation. I'm guessing that this is... Oh, no, that's a scroll of Identify. Never mind. We'll identify one of these other scrolls, which is Teleportation. Good. We can be a lot more liberal with Scrolls of Identify than many characters because we don't have to identify potions. I want to save this mana point in case we end up teleporting to somewhere where there are more monsters. So I think here I'm going to evoke this Wand of Random Effects. A little bit. I mean, worst case scenario is that it hastes her. But yeah, we're teleporting away anyway. Oh, cool, into a nice, safe location. Excellent. Of course, we can't get out of it without either teleporting or diving down into level 3. But we are safe for now. And I think with that, dear viewers, I am going to end my streaming for the evening. I have work very, very early tomorrow. Well, I mean, very, very early. I have to be there at 8 instead of 8:30 for, yeah, very good teleport. Very good. I have to be there at 8. I have to go to a hearing. Yeah, hearing on a motion to enter on the jury trial docket, a case that we are having a lot of fun with. So hopefully that goes well. I imagine it should be fine. I don't know which judge it is. Anyway, the important thing here is that we managed to escape. And we'll have to delve down into dungeon level 4. At least we don't know what's on the other side of the staircase in order to return to dungeon 3. But with Natasha on this level, I kind of feel okay exploring some of 4 anyway. Thanks, Stanley. I appreciate it. I will definitely sleep well this evening. But I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. I'm glad that I got to. I've almost forgotten that we got to ascend not half an hour ago from the bottom level of the dungeon with the orb. That was pretty sweet. Well, this video will go into the past broadcasts, where you can watch it if you came in partway through. And at some point, I do want to figure out how to edit the highlights out so you can show it to your friends without them having to sit there for an hour and a half falling asleep as they listen to my voice. So I'll get those set up maybe this weekend. And yeah, sounds cool. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.